Hello everyone, welcome to session 2 of this training course. Today we're going to dive into the specific product details of the Movidrive B hardware and what power sizes are available. We'll also identify the connectors and expansion bays to discuss their purpose. The Movidrive B has been our flagship inverter for a while and is our most flexible VFD that we sell all over the world. It is based on a modular platform, so there are a lot of components that we can add or remove, which gives them the capability to work for countless applications. One of the main reasons the Movidrive is so popular is because it can operate almost any type of AC motor. It can run standard asynchronous motors, open or closed loop. It can operate permanent magnet servo motors that have resolver or absolute encoder feedback. And it can operate linear motors. If you've never seen a linear motor, it's essentially a servo motor that has been unwrapped and is used for precision linear positioning. Let's summarize some of the key features of the Movidrive. Just like a simple VFD, the Movidrive can do simple speed control. It can control the motor torque directly for applications like winders and mixers that need a specific constant torque to operate properly. It can do positioning, and it does it very well. It can even be connected to other Movidrives for master and slave positioning, which is called synchronous control. It can be operated in open or closed loop control. It can be commissioned to work in all of the different control modes that we discussed in the previous training session. It has a built-in programming language called IPOS Plus that opens the ability for countless types of customizations. Finally, it has application modules. These are pre-written programs that use a graphical interface to input some details about the application. The customizations are loaded in the background, which give the Movidrive the ability to accomplish sophisticated tasks that couldn't be configured just with using the standard parameters. One of the highly desired capabilities of the Movidrive is the IPOS programming. The IPOS feature is very powerful and in some cases eliminates the need for a lower level dedicated PLC to control the Movidrive. A common way IPOS programming is used is to handle all the lower level tasks such as positioning, mathematical unit conversions, and specific types of travel sequences. Doing these tasks within the Movidrive removes the computing load from the upper level PLC. Also, the Movidrive can perform the operations much faster because it doesn't have to wait for the timing lag back and forth that comes with using an external PLC to manage all of the logic. The IPOS language is a streamlined version of the C programming language, so it makes it quite simple to write a custom program from scratch if the programmer has had C experience in the past. The programming tool is a part of our free Movitools software, So there isn't any software you have to pay for if you want to create a custom IPOS program for your application. As a side note, if the Movidrive is using a custom IPOS program, it is good practice to share the correct file with colleagues that may need it. Once the code is compiled and downloaded, it's not possible to extract the pre-compiled code from the Movidrive. If someone connects to the Movidrive without a copy of the code, all they can view is the assembly language version of it, and they can't make any edits to it. Having a copy of the code on hand will make troubleshooting much easier if problems happen later on. And it's the only way to make edits without starting from scratch again. So those code files are extremely important to store in an easy to find location. We understand that not everyone is a programmer or will want to create a custom program for each of their applications. So we have application modules that act as a bridge between the standard Movidrive parameters and a custom IPOS program. We have around a dozen modules to choose from that are tailored for different applications, like palletizing, flying saws, winders, turntables, positioning, master-slave synchronization, etc. The application modules are a lot easier to work with because all you have to do is answer some questions about the application. Then, customized IPOS code is created in the background, so you don't have to figure out how to program the customizations and math functions from scratch. Each application module is well documented, so setting it up and mapping the process data words on the upper level PLC is straightforward by referencing the manual. We actually recommend using our application modules over creating a custom IPOS program if it meets all of the application needs. From a technical support standpoint, we know how the application module works and can locate errors and commissioning easier. If a Movidrive is using a custom IPOS program, we most likely won't have a copy of it, and the program probably doesn't have any accompanying documentation. So it can be very challenging to troubleshoot if problems were to come up later on. We will set up an application module in our lab exercises, so you will get to see what that process looks like. Let's cover some other helpful topics you should know. The first one we'll discuss is operating temperatures. The Movidrive is designed to work in temperatures ranging from 32 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. There are applications like cold storage or furnaces that need positioning, and our Movidrive is used in a lot of those applications. But the Movidrive has to be installed in an area that can regulate the temperature into a safe level. Oftentimes, this means the electrical cabinet has its own air conditioning unit, or the cabinet is a good distance from the application where these temperature limits aren't exceeded. The storage limits are a little wider. For example, if the Movidrive is stored in a non-temperature regulated warehouse and it fluctuates in the winter or summer seasons, that's okay as long as it's not operated at those temperatures. The really important thing with storage is to make sure it remains dry and condensation isn't happening on the Movidrive. These Movidrives are only rated for IP20, so it can be damaged if it comes in contact even with small amounts of moisture. Another note about storage is that we recommend for any long-term storage that the spare Movidrive is powered with its rated line voltage for 5 minutes every 2 years. The Movidrive has electrolytic capacitors that can degrade if they don't see any voltage for extended periods. If you have any Movidrives that have been stored for over 2 years, it can be salvageable, but you have to bring up the voltage slowly with a variable power supply over a 1-hour procedure that's shown in our manual. If voltage isn't brought up slowly, the inrush of peak voltage could cause capacitor failure. If you don't have a variable power supply, our electronics repair lab can do that for you if you have Movidrives that have been stored for longer than 2 years without power. In some scenarios where the ambient temperature can't be kept below 40 degrees Celsius, it is possible to still operate the Movidrive at those temperatures, but the output power rating has to be derated by 2.5% and 3% per degree of Celsius above its maximum. For example, if the ambient temperature during the summer causes the electrical cabinet to get to 60 degrees Celsius, which is 140 degrees Fahrenheit, this means the Movidrive's power capability is reduced to 50%, and it should not be utilized higher than that until the ambient temperature decreases. The Movidrive has very good overload capacity. The Movidrive is designed to handle 125% overload capacity continuously and be okay as long as the ambient temperature limits aren't exceeded. As an example, this could be helpful if the application needs temporary higher load capacity while another machine is down for maintenance. For times when there is a lot of startup torque needed, the Movidrive can output 150% for a total of 60 seconds. A lot of applications that are start and stop will only need 150% for a few seconds, so as long as there is sufficient cooldown periods between cycles, the Movidrive could go to 150% in these brief periods throughout the day and be okay. However, if the Movidrive is continuously reaching 150% and holding it steady, then there is likely a mechanical issue occurring that will need to be resolved. Our smallest Movidrives have a little bit higher overload capacity at 200% for up to 1 second.